The Silent Watcher's captain. Maya Chen had always found space beautiful in its emptiness, but today the void felt different. Her ship, the Endeavor, drifted through the outer rim of human space, conducting what should have been a routine survey mission. The silence of space had been humanity's companion for over 3,000 years, ever since the last alien signal had gone dark in the early days of human spaceflight. Maya stood before the main viewport watching the stars. Behind her, the bridge hummed with quiet activity. Her crew of 12 worked at their stations, scanning for minerals and mapping gravitational fields. They were explorers, not soldiers. Humanity had not fought a real war in over 2 centuries. The galaxy seemed empty of intelligent life, leaving humans to spread across the stars unopposed. "Captain," called Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station, "I'm picking up something unusual. Metallic signatures, but they don't match any known human technology." Maya turned from the viewport. In her 15 years as a ship commander, she had investigated many anomalies. Most turned out to be ancient space debris or unusual asteroid formations. "Show me the readings." The main screen displayed a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding space. Red dots appeared scattered throughout, the region forming a rough sphere around human territory. Maya studied the pattern with growing unease. The objects were positioned too perfectly to be natural, too systematically placed to be random debris. "How many contacts are we showing?" Maya asked. Torres consulted his instruments. "Over 300, Captain. They're positioned at regular intervals like some kind of monitoring network." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. A monitoring network implied intelligence. Intelligence implied someone had been watching. "Time to the nearest contact?" 2 hours at current speed. "Change course." "I want to see one of these things up close." The Endeavor altered its trajectory toward the nearest anomaly. As they approached, the object resolved into something that defied easy description. It was roughly cylindrical, about 50 meters long, but its surface seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. Strange symbols covered its hull, glowing with a soft blue light. "Captain," whispered Dr. Sarah Kim, the ship's xenoarchaeologist. She had joined the crew hoping to find evidence of ancient civilizations. Now she stared at the alien structure with a mixture of excitement and fear. "It's active. The energy readings are off the charts." Maya opened a communication channel to Earth Command. "This is Captain Chen aboard the Endeavor. We have discovered what appears to be alien technology in Sector 447, requesting immediate backup and scientific support." The response came back within minutes, carried by quantum relay, across hundreds of light years. "Message received, Endeavor. Maintain safe distance. Fleet Admiral Rodriguez is dispatching the battle group Valiant to your position. Do not attempt contact until reinforcements arrive." But it was too late for caution. The alien structure suddenly blazed with light and a beam of energy swept across the Endeavor. Maya felt the ship's systems fluctuate as something probed their computers, their databases, their very thoughts. Then the silence of 3,000 years ended. A voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English with an accent that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The words carried weight and authority that made Maya's crew instinctively step back from their stations. "Inhabitants of the 3rd planet of Sol," the voice said, "I am Nexus Prime of the Zephyrian Empire. Your species has been under observation for 3,047 of your years. The monitoring period is now concluded." Maya found her voice, though it took considerable effort. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth Fleet. Why have you been watching us? Your species showed early promise but also displayed dangerous tendencies. We established this containment zone to observe your development and determine your ultimate fate. That determination has now been made." On the main screen, space began to shimmer. Ships materialized out of nothing, their hulls reflecting starlight like mirrors. They were massive, each one larger than Earth's biggest space stations. Elegant curves and flowing lines marked their construction, but Maya could see weapon ports along their hulls. Hundreds of them appeared, then thousands, filling the space around the Endeavor like a metallic storm. Your species has developed beyond acceptable parameters. Nexus Prime continued. You have spread to over 800 star systems. Your technology advances at a rate that threatens galactic stability. Most concerning, your capacity for violence and chaos has not diminished with your advancement. Maya's hands clenched into fists. Humanity has been at peace for 200 years. We've eliminated poverty, disease, and war within our own space. Yet you maintain military forces. You conduct weapons research. Your entertainment celebrates conflict and destruction. Your literature romanticizes war and conquest. No, Captain. Chen, humanity has not outgrown its violent nature. You have simply lacked a worthy opponent. The alien fleet began to move, ships breaking off in different directions. Maya watched in horror as they headed toward human colonies, their intent clear. We offer you a choice, Nexus Prime said. Submit to containment. Remain within your current borders. Accept Zephyrian oversight of your technological development. Do this and your species may continue to exist. And if we refuse? Maya asked, though she already knew the answer. Then you will be cleansed from the galaxy. Your worlds will be sterilized. Your ships will be destroyed. Your history will be erased. This is not negotiation, Captain Chen. This is inevitability. The transmission ended, leaving Maya and her crew in stunned silence. Around them, the alien fleet continued its deployment, moving with practiced efficiency toward human space. Lieutenant Torres broke the silence. Captain, I'm receiving emergency signals from the Proxima colony. They're under attack. Maya's stomach dropped. Proxima was home to 12 million people. It was humanity's oldest extrasolar colony, a symbol of human achievement and determination. Put it through. The voice that came through the speakers was strained with panic. This is Governor Williams of Proxima Colony. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. Our defense fleet is... Oh God, they're just gone. The aliens fired some kind of weapon and our ships just disappeared. Please, anyone receiving this, we need immediate assistance. They're targeting our orbital platforms now. The signal cut to static. Maya stared at the communication console, her mind racing. Earth's largest battle fleets were days away from Proxima. Even if they left immediately, they would arrive to find nothing but empty space. Captain, Dr. Kim said softly, we need to warn Earth. The aliens aren't just attacking Proxima. If they've been watching us for 3,000 years, they know the location of every human world. Maya nodded grimly. Send a message to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Tell them we're at war with an enemy that makes our technology look like stone knives and bearskins. Tell them... She paused, searching for words that could convey the magnitude of the threat. Tell them humanity needs to remember how to be human. Over the next several hours, reports flooded in from across human space. The alien attack was coordinated and overwhelming. Colony after colony fell silent. Space stations were destroyed, with single shots from weapons that seemed to unmake matter itself. Human fleets that tried to engage the aliens simply vanished, as if they had never existed. The pattern was always the same. The Zephyrians would arrive in massive formations, moving with perfect coordination. Human forces would attempt traditional, military tactics, trying to match formation against formation, weapon against weapon. The aliens would respond with technology so advanced, it seemed like magic, erasing human resistance with casual efficiency. Maya watched the tactical displays as humanity's carefully planned defenses crumbled. Admiral Martinez's Third Fleet had been destroyed trying to hold the line at Kepler 442. General Thompson's orbital fortresses around Wolf 359 had lasted less than 10 minutes against the alien assault. The pride of human military engineering was being swept aside like toys, but Maya noticed something else in the reports. The aliens fought with perfect precision, yes, but also with perfect predictability. Their formations never varied. Their tactics followed identical patterns at each engagement. It was as if they were following a manual that had been written thousands of years ago and never updated. Dr. Kim, Maya called. You've studied alien artifacts before. What can you tell me about species that develop hive minds or collective consciousness? Kim looked up from her analysis of the alien monitoring station. Theoretically, they would have perfect coordination and information sharing. but they might also have difficulty with creative thinking or adapting to unexpected situations. Maya felt a spark of hope. What if we stopped fighting like humans are supposed to fight? What if we stopped trying to match their formations and their tactics? I'm not sure I follow, Captain. Maya pulled up the tactical displays showing humanity's recent defeats. Look at this. Every single battle we tried to meet them head-on, ship to ship, formation to formation. We fought the way military academies teach, the way wars are supposed to be fought. She highlighted different sections of the battle reports. But what if we didn't fight fair? What if we used every dirty trick, every unconventional tactic, every chaotic human instinct that 3,000 years of peace have made us forget? Lieutenant Torres looked up from his station. Captain, Fleet Admiral Rodriguez is requesting all ships to fall back to the Sol system for a final defensive stand. Maya stared at the communication. A final defensive stand. The last gasp of human, military tradition. She thought about the Zephyrian Empire, with their perfect ships and flawless coordination. They expected humanity to gather its forces and make a glorious last stand. They had probably seen it 100 times before with other species. No, Maya said quietly. Send a message to all human ships and colonies still in communication range. Tell them to ignore the retreat order. Captain? Torres looked shocked. Tell them it's time to stop being soldiers, Maya continued. Tell them it's time to remember what made humanity survive on Earth for millions of years before we had spaceships and energy weapons. She turned to face her crew, seeing confusion and fear in their eyes. We're not going to fight the Zephyrians the way they expect. We're going to fight them the way humans have always fought when our backs were against the wall. We're going to cheat. The human solution. The message spread through human space like wildfire, carried by quantum relays and emergency channels. Captain Maya Chen's words reached miners in asteroid belts, researchers on isolated stations, and colonists on frontier worlds. The official military command structure was in chaos, with fleets destroyed and communication networks failing. But Maya's simple message got through. Stop being soldiers. Start being human. The response was unlike anything in recorded military history. Instead of gathering into defensive formations, human ships scattered. Instead of preparing for conventional battles, they began doing things that made no sense, according to established tactics. On the mining world of Series 7, Shift Supervisor Jack Morrison received the message while his crews were evacuating. The Zephyrian fleet was 6 hours out, moving toward their world with the same methodical precision they had shown everywhere else. But instead of fleeing, Morrison made a decision that would have gotten him court-martialed in peacetime. Belay that evacuation order, he announced over the mining platform's communication system. Anyone who wants to leave can go. Anyone who wants to stay and fight, meet me in Bay 7. 2,000 miners stayed. Morrison led them to the main excavation site where massive fusion charges were used to break apart asteroids. The charges were designed for precision work, but Morrison had spent 30 years learning every detail of how they functioned. We're going to turn this entire asteroid field into the biggest shotgun blast in human history, he told his volunteers. Working with desperate speed, the miners rigged hundreds of fusion charges throughout the asteroid belt surrounding their world. They connected the charges to a single detonation network and scattered them across millions of cubic kilometers of space. Then they waited. The Zephyrian fleet arrived exactly on schedule, moving in perfect formation toward Series 7. Their ships were beautiful and terrible, flowing through space like schools of mechanical fish. They had dealt with asteroid-based defenses before. Most species tried to hide behind rocks or use them as shields. The Zephyrians had weapons that could shatter planets, but they had never encountered anything like Morrison's trap. As the alien fleet moved through the asteroid field, Morrison triggered every charge simultaneously. The explosion was visible from 3 star systems away. Millions of tons of rock and metal became an expanding sphere of hypervelocity shrapnel, moving faster than most species could detect, let alone avoid. The Zephyrian ships, designed to withstand, Energy weapons and sophisticated missiles found themselves caught in a storm of simple mass and velocity. Their shields flickered and failed. Hull plates cracked. For the first time since the war began, alien ships were destroyed not by superior technology, but by the most basic law of physics: momentum equals mass times velocity. Morrison watched through his observatory's telescopes as half the Zephyrian fleet was torn apart by flying rocks. The surviving ships tried to retreat, but the miners had one more surprise. Hidden among the asteroids were old cargo haulers loaded with nuclear waste from the mining operations. As the aliens fled, Morrison detonated these secondary charges, filling the escape routes with radioactive debris. The Battle of Series 7 lasted less than 20 minutes. When it was over, Morrison's volunteers had destroyed an entire Zephyrian battle group using nothing but mining equipment and creative thinking. Similar scenes played out across human space. On the agricultural world of New Kansas, farmers used their crop-dusting aircraft to deliver biological weapons designed to target alien respiratory systems. The chemicals had originally been developed to control insect pests, but Dr. Lisa Chen, a xenobiologist turned resistance fighter, had modified them after analyzing Zephyrian atmospheric requirements. In the Tau Ceti system, a group of teenagers used their knowledge of gaming and virtual reality to hack into Zephyrian communication networks. The aliens had protected their systems against sophisticated military intrusion, but they had never encountered the chaotic creativity of human hackers working with jury-rigged gaming equipment. The Zephyrians found their perfect coordination, disrupted by false orders, corrupted data, and what their computers could only classify as nonsensical information patterns. Ships received conflicting instructions. Navigation systems displayed impossible readings. Weapon-targeting computers began firing at empty space, but the most devastating human adaptation was psychological warfare. Dr. Sarah Kim, still aboard Maya's ship, had made a crucial discovery while studying the alien monitoring station. "Captain," she called excitedly, "I figured out how their communication system works. It's not just radio or quantum entanglement. They share thoughts and emotions directly through some kind of neural network." Maya saw the implication immediately. If they're all connected mentally, then anything that disrupts one of them affects all of them. Exactly, but it goes deeper than that. I think they've been connected for so long that they've lost the ability to handle cognitive dissonance or conflicting information. Maya grinned with predatory satisfaction. "Doctor, I think you just gave us the key to winning this war." The plan that emerged from Maya's ship was shared with human forces throughout the galaxy. Instead of trying to destroy Zephyrian ships, humans would target their minds. Every encounter became an exercise in creating chaos, confusion, and contradiction. Human ships began using impossible tactics. They would retreat when they should attack when they should retreat, and occasionally do both simultaneously. They used weapons in ways that violated military doctrine, turning mining lasers into communications devices and communications equipment into weapons. Captain Rodriguez of the cargo ship Lucky Strike loaded his hold with children's toys and launched them at a Zephyrian cruiser. The aliens, expecting missiles or energy weapons, were completely unprepared for thousands of colorful plastic balls bouncing off their hull. Their shared consciousness couldn't process the absurdity of being attacked by playthings, while the aliens tried to understand why they were being bombarded with toys. Rodriguez used the distraction to ram his ship directly into their engine section. The Lucky Strike was destroyed, but so was the Zephyrian cruiser. The psychological pressure on the alien hive mind intensified with each encounter. They were accustomed to fighting logical opponents who followed predictable patterns. Humans seemed to operate on no pattern at all, using tactics that ranged from brilliant to suicidal to completely insane. The breaking point came at the Battle of Titan. Admiral Sarah Okafor had been a logistics officer before the war, responsible for coordinating supply lines and resource allocation. She had never commanded a combat fleet, but when the Zephyrians sent their largest armada toward Earth's home system, she was the ranking officer available. Rather than meet the aliens in traditional formation, Okafor spread her forces throughout the outer solar system and waited. When the Zephyrian fleet arrived, expecting to find human ships arrayed for a final battle, They found only empty space. "Where are they hiding?" asked Sub-Commander Thex of the Zephyrian Advance Force, speaking, through their shared neural network, to the fleet consciousness. "Irrelevant," replied Nexus Prime. "We will proceed to Earth and complete the cleansing. If they choose to hide, they will simply die with their homeworld." But Okafor wasn't hiding. She was orchestrating the most complex ambush in military history. The Zephyrian fleet moved toward Earth. Human forces struck from every direction. Ships emerged from behind moons and asteroids, but instead of forming battle lines, they began doing something the aliens had never seen before. They started working together in ways that made no tactical sense. Cargo ships loaded with industrial, adhesive-rammed alien vessels gluing their weapon ports shut. Mining ships used their excavation equipment to literally tear holes in enemy hulls. Passenger liners, their entertainment systems jury-rigged into communications jammers, disrupted the alien hive mind's coordination. Most devastating of all, Okafor had convinced Earth's orbital manufacturing plants to produce millions of simple mechanical devices, music boxes. Each box played a different tune, and they were launched at the alien fleet in waves. The Zephyrians' shared consciousness, evolved to process unified thought and coordinated action, was overwhelmed by thousands of different melodies playing simultaneously. Their neural network, trying to process and understand the musical chaos, began to break down. Ships stopped responding to commands. Formation discipline collapsed. Some alien vessels began firing on each other as their targeting systems, confused by the sensory overload, lost track of friend and foe. In the midst of the chaos, Maya Chen's voice echoed across all communication channels, both human and alien. "Nexus Prime of the Zephyrian Empire. This is Captain Maya Chen of humanity. You wanted to see what we were capable of? You wanted to judge whether we were too dangerous to exist?" Through their failing neural network, the Zephyrians felt something they had not experienced in millennia: uncertainty, fear. The humans were not just defeating them, they were doing it in ways that challenged the very foundations of Zephyrian thought. "You studied us for 3,000 years, Maya continued, but you never understood the most important thing about humanity. We don't just survive, we adapt, we improvise. We turn our weaknesses into strengths and our failures into victories." The Zephyrian fleet, once the terror of 100 conquered worlds, began a retreat that looked more like a rout. Ships fled, in all directions, their perfect formation shattered by human unpredictability. Nexus Prime, speaking through the last functioning communication node, addressed humanity one final time. "Your species is unprecedented. The Zephyrian Empire withdraws from human space. You have earned the right to exist through methods we could not have predicted." As the alien fleet disappeared into the depths of space, Maya stood on the bridge of the Endeavor and watched Earth's sun shine on a free humanity. They had faced extinction and responded not with military precision or technological superiority, but with the chaotic creativity that had always been their greatest strength. "Captain," Lieutenant Torres said, "Earth Command is asking for our status report. What should I tell them?" Maya smiled, thinking of the miners who had turned asteroids into weapons, the farmers who had used pesticides against starships, and the children who had hacked alien computers with gaming equipment. "Tell them humanity is exactly what it's always been," she replied. "Dangerous, unpredictable, and absolutely impossible to contain." The war was over, but Maya knew it was also a beginning. The galaxy now knew that humanity existed, and more importantly, what humans were capable of when pushed to their limits. The silence of 3,000 years was broken forever, but Maya couldn't bring herself to regret it. After all, quiet neighborhoods were boring, and humans had never been particularly good at being boring.